Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day, good middle of the night, whatever time you live. We about to talk that talk. Tonight, we talked about this in the chat. I am Aaron Smith, the rapping professor. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingT.com. Live anytime and log on. If you don't have text going with the notifications, text Queens to 31996. Make sure you stay in the mix. And it's FlyNubianKingTV.com. You get your business right. FlyNubianBusiness.com. Get your money right. FlyNubianMoney.com to get your bag situated for your shopping. Popping. ShopFNQ.com. And let's do it. Let's get into it. Because we talked about, different titles. And I said, I'm going to talk about that, later in the week. A black man did it. I only got about 9 different instances. I couldn't do all. Y'all know we only got about an hour. I can't. But y'all get in the chat and let me know the ones I missed. And we got to get into this. Because they talking about Believe the Women and Me Too. And I'm like, hey, who's me? Not the same demographic that has the most consistent rate of falsely accusing another demographic in the history of humankind. Not white women to black men. Not white women to black men. It can tell me it ain't so. I woke up one morning and people have been lying for the past 300 years wanted to be believed on face value. Where are we going to start? Let's start at the Scottsboro Boys, shall we? 1931. We can start there. The Scottsboro Boys were 9 black teenagers falsely accused of raping 2 white women aboard a train near Scottsboro, Alabama in 1931. The trials and repeated retrials of the Scottsboro Boys sparked an international uproar and produced 2 landmark U.S. Supreme Court verdicts, even as the defendants were forced to spend years battling the courts and enduring the harsh conditions of the Alabama prison system. Who were the Scottsboro Boys? By the early 1930s, with the nation marred in the Great Depression, many unemployed Americans would try and hitch rides above freight trains to move around the country searching for work. On March 25th, 1931, after a fight broke out on a Southern Railroad freight train in Jackson County, Alabama, police arrested 9 black youth ranging in age from 13 to 19 on a minor charge. But when deputies questioned 2 white women, Ruby Bates and Victoria Price, they accused the boys of raping them while on board the train. Scottsboro. Charlie Weems, Ossie Powell, Clarence Norris, Andrew and Leroy Wright. They got some brothers there. Olin Montgomery, Willie Robertson, and Haywood Patterson and Eugene Williams were transferred to the local county seat, Scottsboro, to await trial. Only 4 of them have known each other before their arrest, as news spread of the alleged rape, a highly inflammatory charge given the Jim Crow laws of the South. Now, they was lynching people, man. So just an accusation, word to Black Wall Street, right? Initial trials and appeals, it says, in the first set of trials, April 1931, an all-white, all-male jury quickly convicted the Scottsboro Boys and sentenced 8 of them to death. The trial of the youngest, 13-year-old Leroy Wright, ended in a hung jury when one juror favored life imprisonment rather than death. Oh, sorry, I'll say y'all in the chat. At this point, the International Labor Defense, right, the ILD they called it, the legal wing of the American Communist Party, took on the boys' case, seeing its potential to galvanize public opinion against racism. That June, the court granted the boys a stay of execution pending an appeal to the Alabama Supreme Court. The ILD spearheaded a national campaign to help free the 9 young men, including rallies, speeches, parades, demonstrations, and letters streamed in from people. And that was Ida B. Wells involved in that time too, right? But in March 1932, the Alabama Supreme Court upheld the convictions of 7 of the defendants and granted Williams a new trial, and he was a minor at the time of his conviction. Right? All right, Chris Scott, shout out to you. Powell versus Alabama. Then they had Norris versus Alabama. Scottsboro Boys legacy. After escaping from prison in 1948, Patterson, one of the boys, was picked up in Detroit by the FBI, but the Michigan governor refused Alabama's effort to extradite him, convicted of manslaughter after a barroom brawl in 1951. Patterson died of cancer in 1952. So they kept a lot of these people on a trajectory to have even more troubled lives. The Scottsboro Boys of the 1930s. Tonight we're talking about what's up, Mr. White Tuber and Drew Reichs to pray. Tony Johnson, the Scottsboro Boys. Let's move on. 4 black men accused in 1949. And yeah, I kid y'all not, I could have did 40 of them. I'm only doing like 8 throughout the whole course of it. We're just going to talk. NBC News reports 4 black men accused of 1949 rape of white woman in Florida are pardoned. The families of the men who were pardoned and the who was 17 at the time she said she was raped had a brief confrontation at a dramatic meeting of a state board. My word. Associated Press reports. This is from January 11th, 2018. 2018. I'm just shaking my head like 1949. 70 years ago. Tallahassee, Florida, after a dramatic hour-long meeting that recalled events from nearly 7 decades ago, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the state's 3-member cabinet granted posthumous pardons. These people died as guilty men, denied due process. After they died, they given these people pardons posthumously. 4 African-American men accused of raping a white woman in a 1949 case, now seen as a race. Now seen. No, we saw it, yeah. We see it in real time. We the canary in the mine. 1949 case, now seen as a racial injustice. The case of the men known as the Groveland Four. So we did the Scottsboro Boys. Yeah, it seems like nothing's changed, right? Shouts out to you, John. Scottsboro Boys to the Groveland Four. The case of the men known as Groveland Four have been documented in a book and considered a blight on Florida's history. You know, Florida's acting crazy right now. Don't say it's like an ugly chapter. Don't say it's a blight on Florida's history. They've been doing it then. They're doing it now. Isn't Zimmerman from Florida? I thought that was a gated community they had out there. The families of the men accused of the assault told DeSantis and the cabinet meeting as the clemency board that there is overwhelming evidence the men were innocent and there was no rape. The woman who was 17 when she said she was raped sat in a wheelchair and later told Governor DeSantis and the cabinet the rape did indeed happen, saying she was dragged from a car, had a gun put to her head, and was told not to scream or they will blow your brains out. At one point, the two sides briefly clashed. Beverly Robinson, a niece of one of the Groveland Four, was speaking to the governor and the cabinet when she turned to the woman and her sons. It never happened. You all are liars, Robinson said. That's enough out of you, the woman said. I know it's enough out of me. It's always enough when you're telling the truth, Robinson replied. The unanimous vote to pardon came almost 2 years after the State House and Senate voted to formally apologize to relatives of the Groveland Four and to ask then Governor Rick Scott to pardon the men. Scott, now a U.S. Senator, never took action. Rick Scott, shame on you. DeSantis replaced Scott on Tuesday and made the pardons a priority. Quote, I don't know that there's any way you could look at this case and think that those ideals of justice were satisfied. Indeed, they were perverted time and time again. And I think the way this was carried out was a miscarriage of justice, DeSantis said. The ordeal began in Lake County in 1949 when a 17-year-old girl said she was raped. 3 of the men were arrested and severely beaten. A 4th, Ernest Thomas, fled. A posse of about 1,000 men was formed to hunt down Thomas. He was shot 400 times. when they found him sleeping under a tree. White residents also formed a mob and went to a black neighborhood, burning houses and firing guns into homes in a disturbance that took days to quell. Charles Greenlee, Walter Irvin, and Samuel Shepard were convicted by an all-white jury. Other evidence that could have exonerated them, such as a doctor's conclusion that the teen probably wasn't raped, was withheld at the trial. Greenlee was sentenced to life and Irvin and Shepard to death. Thurgood Marshall, later the first African-American justice on the U.S. Supreme Court, took up Irvin and Shepard's appeals for the NAACP, and in 1951, the U.S. Supreme Court ordered new trials. Just before those trials began, Lake County Sheriff Willard McCall shot Irvin and Shepard, claiming the handcuffed men tried to escape as he transferred them from prison to a jail. Shepard died. Irvin was shot in the neck and survived despite an ambulance refusing to transport him because he was black. He was again convicted, even though a former FBI agent testified that prosecutors manufactured evidence against him. Believe the women. Just believe the women. Me too. Me too. Fly Nubian Queen TV. Fly Nubian Queen, Fly Nubian King, FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Shot the boy 400 times. Shot him 400 times. Charges were never brought against the white law enforcement officers or prosecutors who handled the cases. Irvin was paroled in 1968 and found dead in his car while returning to Lake County for a funeral a year later. Greenlee was paroled in 1960 and died in 2012. Greenlee's daughter, Carol Greenlee, told DeSantis and the cabinet that there was overwhelming evidence that her father was innocent. He was accused, put in jail, and tortured for something he didn't do, she said. The woman who said she was raped disputed the family stories. Y'all just don't know what kind of horror I've been through all these many years, she said. I don't want them pardoned. No, I do not. And you wouldn't either. I know Robinson called me a liar, but I'm not a liar. Afterwards, State Senator Gary Farmer, who sponsored the 2017 resolutions apologizing to the families, said the woman's comments were disappointing. The senator is looking at this woman after all these years, 70 years, and saying, your comments are, quote, she's now here at the end of her life, and she had a chance to come clean, to seek forgiveness for herself, and to support the justice these four families and these four men deserve, Farmer said. It's very sad that she lost this opportunity and continues to perpetuate this lie. This crime did not happen. The evidence is overwhelming. The senator said this. After all these years, this woman just believed the women. Oh, it's toxic masculinity if you just don't believe the women, or if you read history and you got a brain, if you know what it is to be a black man in a world where a white woman's accusation is as good as a grand jury investigation. Y'all know where we going. Yeah, shot 400 times. Y'all know where we going next, right? Yeah, I mean, sadly enough, if we're only going to pick the highlights of our oppression and marginalization and extrajudicial justice, the textbook definition of a lynching, Emmett Till. The brutal abduction and murder of the 14-year-old Emmett Till, August 28, 1955, galvanizing the emerging civil rights movement. Till was visiting relatives in Money, Mississippi in 1955 when the 14-year-old was accused of whistling at Carol Ann Bryant, a white woman who was a cashier at a grocery store. She made such a big deal out of somebody whistling at her. I mean, even if it wasn't the custom of the day and it wasn't allowed and it was frowned upon, you went and reported it. You reported a whistle. 4 days later, Bryant's husband, 4 days later, you still on it? Like, you ever see somebody ready to fight in a club? If they saw each other the next day, like at the supermarket, they probably wouldn't just come to blows. If you was having a fight in the club, if I saw you next week at Whole Foods, I'm not smacking you by the broccoli. Like, it's over. You the dude I was beating in the club. Like, is it on site or no? Like, wasn't no blood spilled. We rumbled. Like, 4 days later, Brian's husband Roy and his half-brother J.W. Miller kidnapped Till, beat him, and shot him in the head. The men were tried for murder, but an all-white jury, it's an all-white male jury, acquitted them. Till's murder and the open casket funeral galvanized the emerging civil rights movement. More than 6 decades later, in 2017, Timothy Tyson, author of The Blood of Emmett Till and a senior research scholar at Duke University, revealed that in a 2007 interview, Carolyn admitted to him. Why wait till 2017 if she admitted it in 2007? What the book came out with? Admitted to him that she had lied about Till making advances towards her. The following year, it was reported that the Justice Department had reopened an investigation into Till's murder. Talk black to me. Because we still, I don't understand why black people, what? I don't understand. Don't believe that God did not create. Oh, interesting. Shouts out to you, Phil B1. Appreciate you for being in the chat. Let's move on. Text Queens 31996, stay in the mix. So one of the stories that relates to that says Emmett Till's accuser, right, after being proven to be a liar, admits to giving false testimony. But what is the response? Why is now she's called Carolyn Bryant Dunham? Why is she still walking around free, living her life? All the Black Lives Matter, social justice warriors, modern day Thurgood Marshall, Cecil B. Moore, Adam Clayton Powell's, Johnny Cochran's, all these people that became police officers to make a difference. All these people say, I want to protect the children, teach the babies, and train them up in the way they should go so that when they get old, they won't depart. All these people, why is she, Carolyn Bryant Dunham, the woman who falsely accused Emmett Till, free to live out her winter in years? Like, I'm at the point now, it's like, don't tell me nothing. You ever talk to your parents and be like, can I get my prime dress? Don't say nothing until them dishes is clean. Mom, do you mind if on Friday, well, today is Monday, and last I checked, you got to take out the trash and it's still here. Until we handle this, there's no discussion. Carolyn Bryant Dunham, the woman who accused Emmett Till falsely, is alive and well and chilling peacefully and free. And until we handle that, there's nothing to discuss. Don't tell me about no megaphone, no sign, no march, no GoFundMe. Unless it's a GoFundMe to come get, send her some car service. We're going to send one-way car service from Carolyn Bryant Dunham's house to the county jail. And she's going to need some bail because with accusations like that, your life is a fail. I just got to keep it real. Now listen to this. We can do this from the 50s to the 2000s, but things were so similar. I just skipped the good third. Andrew Perkins back in the room, trying to do my thing, teaching. White woman who lied about being kidnapped and raped by 3 black men indicted on felonies. This is just 2 years ago. Y'all remember the Texas woman, right? Brenna Harmon Talbot, that's how I say her name? Yeah, Brianna Rochelle Harmon. Brianna Rochelle Harmon. Now, these people are 19 years old, but she still knows how to stick to the script. So how does she know the script from 1931 and 1951? And how does she know the script that her grandmothers might have used on black men? Who told her? They're not teaching in school. It's not on TV. But somehow, some way, she knows if you get in a jam, the best thing you could do is just say, a black man did something to me. Text Queens at 31996. Make sure you in the mix. FlyNubianKingTV.com, FlyNubianQueen.com. If you listening live, feel the vibe. If not, I'm so glad you logged on. Like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. You hit the button, it won't take nothing to hit the like right there. Right? Share it with a friend. Okay, let me stop. A young Texas woman who ran into a church half naked and claiming she was raped has been indicted on multiple charges related to what turned out to be a hoax. On Wednesday, 19-year-old Brianna Rochelle Harmon, also known as Brianna Harmon Talbot, was indicted on 2 third-degree felony counts of tampering with physical evidence and a third-degree felony count of tampering with a government record. She has also been charged with a state jail felony count of tampering with a government record, held the Herald Democratic reports. Earlier this year, Harmon ran into a Denison, Texas church and told the people that she had been kidnapped and raped by 3 masked black men. At the time, she was wearing only a bra, t-shirt, and underwear and was bloodied and looked battered. Apparently, to sell her story, which she successfully incited racist backlash all across social media. Originally, she was charged with a misdemeanor, but prosecutors are now deciding to rightly throw the book at her. Quote, Ms. Harmon was originally arrested for the misdemeanor offense of false report to a peace officer. Grayson County, Texas District Attorney Joe Brown said in a press release Wednesday. However, the more we have looked at what happened in this case and considered the harm it caused and certainly could have caused, we believe what she did fits these higher charges. What she did was very serious, and we believe it was felony conduct. Felony conduct. What are some cases like this y'all know? I need y'all to tell me, how do we factor this in to the realities of molestation, gender violence, and domestic violence, right? And gender-specific assaults and things of that nature. How do we factor that in with this long legacy of false reporting? And we have to appreciate nuance and delineate properly and critically assess, right? We don't want to throw, the whole notion of a movement out simply because we have this tragic, sordid history of people falsely reporting our people, because there are people who are abused every day, and we want to find a way to help real victims, but uncover the nonsense. A white woman, Teresa Klein, called the police on a black child she falsely said groped her October 12, 2018. A white woman who called the police after claiming that a young black boy touched her behind in a Brooklyn deli drew a storm of ridicule. Some of y'all remember that. The woman looked like she was a tweaker. It's like she was halfway smoked out in that bodega, that poppy shop, right? And she was talking about, you grabbed me. And then it turned out she was lying. And okay. Critics characterize the incident as the latest example of a hypersensitive white person calling the police to report black people. Recently it got even worse in terms of calling 911. Maybe not for as severe reasons. They quickly labeled her Corner Store Caroline. In Flatbush, she was in the store and the video hit Facebook. And then it turns out, she said, I was just sexually assaulted by a child, Ms. Klein is heard saying video, as she said she was on the phone with the police. The boy, who is about 9, and another child burst into tears outside the store as bystanders confronted Ms. Klein about the incident. So these little boys are all distraught. They get accused of something they didn't do. And then luckily for us, the village came around and was like, you dead wrong. The public shaming of people who behave boorishly and spout racist views has become a feature in modern life in New York City. So since the video was first reported by the New York Times, Ms. Klein, 53, returned to the store on Friday afternoon to buy cigarettes and to face her neighbors who heckled her as she gave her version of events to journalists. Then, prompted by a reporter, Ms. Klein went inside the store and watched a playback of the bodega security camera footage from Wednesday evening. They let her come back to the scene days later, talk all this talk to the reporters. Then they was like, you mind coming in the, you ever see the cops saying, you mind coming in and talking to us? You mind? Always say no. You might, I'll be say yes. Say yes, I do mind, but no, I'm not going. Right? We don't got to talk about nothing. Onlookers crammed inside the bodega's doorway to watch the screening. Their phone cameras pointed toward Ms. Klein playing on a ceiling-mounted fan screen television, and it says the video shows the child turning to someone behind him and his backpack brushing Miss Klein's backside as he leaned over the counter. The young boy had on a backpack that touched this woman's flat behind. Speaking to a television reporter's camera afterwards, Miss Klein made an apology. Was somebody too little, too late? She made an apology. Young man, she said, I don't know your name, but I'm sorry. A woman charged at me and flashed a badge and said that she would arrest me. She said I called 911 when she complained about the mother getting aggressive. No. For 3 days, Ms. Klein has been roundly criticized on Twitter. Many people took issue with the idea that a boy of his age would even understand what it meant to grope someone. The little kid thought he was going to jail for something he didn't do. Wow, somebody told me. I thought it was someone calling the police for unnecessary reasons, especially on a child. A black man did it. A black man did it. So comfortable, so quick. It says being black in a world where white lies matter. The Undefeated reports. In a world of fake news and alternative facts, fabricated fears can have serious consequences. And I think it was D.L. Hughley said the most dangerous place for a black person to be is in the imagination of a white person or white racist person. This is insane. Text Queens at 31996. Make sure you stay in the mix. FlyNubianKingTV.com, FlyNubianQueen.com. And if you want to get your shopping popping, shop FNQ. Y'all know how we do. If you want to get your money right, FlyNubianMoney.com. You want to get your business right, FlyNubianBusiness.com. You want to secure the bag so you can put it in the bag. Shout out to Neo and Fab. Then make sure you go to FlyNubian Business and shop FNQ.com so you can make the money, then you can spend the money, and then you can get some merchandise. And ain't that nice? So good I don't have to say it twice. This woman is a liar. Another liar. Liar after liar. And for some reason, people don't think they go to jail when they tell these lies. So maybe they need to change the legislation and let people know that false reporting at some point in history will have to carry the same burden as what, false reporting would carry for those who are falsely accused. If you're accusing me of something that can give me 20 years and they find out that you lied, knew you was lying, you should be up for 20 years too. You can't lie on somebody and say they murdered somebody. You should be risking your life. Not trying, right? So this whole idea of white women consistently lying on black men, the most consistent demographic in the history of humankind to lie on another demographic about sexual assault, is arguably, I think, quantifiably provable that it was white women to black men. I mean, getting people shot 400 times and living with yourself. Coming back 70 years later after everybody involved with certain situations say it was a lie, and you still sticking to your racist guns. Let's continue. Lynching, the whole institution. Like the Ku Klux Klan said that one of their primary tenets and reasons for starting was to protect the purity of white women. The Ku Klux Klan was meant to protect the purity of white women. People were killing people for, lynching to protect white women. There's an article in History Engine, Richmond Education, Richmond EDU. Though the potential of the exponential increase in lynching did not truly begin until the late 1880s, the upward trend had already began a decade earlier. Casual articles with headlines like "A Rascal Lynched" were fairly common in the newspapers in the 1870s. This would be a headline. A rascal lynched. Already, much of the Southern public was blinded with fear and rage at the idea of a black man with a white woman. A lynching was most likely to occur in cases where a black man had been convicted of outraging, that's what they called it, raping, a white woman. Though a lack of convictions did not mean whites presupposed and accused Negroes' innocence. In Cairo, Mississippi, for example, a black man arrested for attempted rape of a white girl was taken from the jailhouse by a number of citizens and hanged. End quote. Threats of extra-legal executions for black men were accepted as almost normal when a white woman's integrity and supposed virginity were at stake. Many newspaper accounts failed to even mention the suspect's name. A one-sentence account in the Richmond Daily Dispatch relayed a Mason County, Kentucky incident. Quote, "A Negro was shot dead in Mason County yesterday for rape." But why did rape merit the death penalty only in cases where the accused was black and the victim was a white woman? The Civil War ripped apart the Southern social structure. White men were no longer the unquestioned masters of their regime. The threat of white-black racial amalgamation, coupled with post-slavery black competition in social and economic spheres, struck fear in the hearts of white men across the United States and in the South in particular, and compelled them to reassert their power over both their women and the black men who were their competition. Assert their power or insecurities, superimpose their insecurities on other people. What about the South Carolina woman? Remember her? Kirsten, is that her name? Kirsten Mitchell Rhymes says, South Carolina woman arrested for lies after allegedly telling police a black man assaulted her. A black man did it. This was in 2019, January. New-ish. Investigators arrested a South Carolina woman for lying to police after they discovered her story about being brutally attacked by a black man in a Walmart parking lot was as real as Donald Trump's stable. Okay, they going in. They going in. According to the state, 27-year-old Kirsten Mitchell Rhymes was charged with felonies that could each result in 5-year prison sentences in relation to the November 26th incident when she told authorities that a male of the Negro variety, they funny with this, Rhymes initially told police that she had pulled into the Walmart parking lot in Columbia, South Carolina. And listen to this. Whenever you hear like the reenactments, in the Zimmerman case, they did a computer-generated reenactment, and then Zimmerman was testifying saying that Trayvon Martin said to him, hey, homie, something to that effect, homie. And I was like, I ain't heard a black person say homie ever in my life. I ain't never had a black person say, yo, homie. Unless they really just being facetious, being funny, just joke, hey, homie. But when they think they know how we talk, they try to imitate us. Listen to this. This sister, this woman says she gets there around 11:30 when she heard a voice say, hey, girl. But it was not an interlude. They joking. I didn't see anybody, just heard a voice. This is what the lady said. I said I was roll my window up, Rhymes told the Cola Daily. I had put my car in park and I didn't think about how my doors unlock automatically when I do that. So when Rhymes said a man pulled her car door, pulled her out, and smashed her head against the concrete, he started tugging on my pants. Then I suddenly hear another guy scream, what's going on there? These are all lies. And at that point, the guy took off. Rhymes explained, the man who yelled never came back. I just take it as an angel sent from God right at the right time. In describing her assailant, Rhymes painted a picture of a typical rabid thug type to police. He was a black male, medium build, wearing a hoodie and a jacket over it. Once the story went private, guess who was blamed? Okay, when they moved to the Section 8 housing in the duplex of the apartments of Columbia Drive, it says that there was the property values that soared, and they had this is insane. Police said the incident caused the public concern. I guess so. People were told to travel in pairs. Other people were posting her stuff for her when she was faking, talking about my coworker, bless her. She's been through a lot. So glad she's okay. Everyone been on the lookout, and please travel in pairs. I even call my fiance when I have to walk to my car from work just to be sure someone knows what's happening. Says Irma woman mugged in Harbison Walmart parking lot. Cola Daily. You need the news, not the man. Please. Y'all got to let me know. How in the world did just believe the women? Not even like you should do your research, but I'm saying you should trust the women based on statistics. No. Just shut up. Just shut up and dribble. Just believe the women and everything will be all right. You just got to believe the women. My goodness gracious. And the fact that it's going unchallenged. The fact that nobody's saying, hey, can we take a pause in this and have some critical analysis? Can we look at this from a different perspective, from a demographic who has just cause to not just believe the women? And that doesn't really make sense under the circumstances. You maybe should take some time and look at history. History is best served to reward all research. Right? Even Brother Malcolm said the same thing. Now we need to utilize history to see how often was it in our best interest to, without due process, castigate and condemn our brothers. When we got brothers who were part of, the feeding frenzy, and when we know that people were accused falsely, we got to at least acknowledge their words as well as the words of people who were saying they were accused. There's a rich history of people saying a black man did it. Y'all tell me, because some of y'all might say, well, this is different. I'm reading the article now. It says, why Me Too needs to talk about predatory white women. More than a half a century after the murder of Emmett Till, And we still live in a world where black boys can be criminalized, even killed by the words of white women like Cornerstone Caroline, the one that we talked about earlier, who thought that somebody was brushing up against her. Meanwhile, it was somebody's bag. So talk about being in your bag. A normal day for Jeremiah Harvey. We talked about that, the terror that he faced. You know, when this 53-year-old white woman terrorized him. But says the reasons behind it. Black boys have long been the victims of the radicalized sexual paranoia of white women in America. An easy target because it is the white woman's word against theirs. And we see time and again how eager cops are to believe a white damsel in distress and criminalize even the youngest black boys. It is important to recognize in these stories that black boys were not the perpetrators, but the prey of white women. They were the prey. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Make sure you log on. Text Queens to 31996. Make sure you stay in the mix. If you want to get your shopping popping, shopfnq.com. Y'all know how we do. White women have participated in rape of black males by hiding behind the category of woman, says Tommy J. Curry, author of The Man Not. If you don't have this book by Brother Curry, this is a must-read book, especially for the topic tonight. The Man Not. Race, Class, Gender, and the Dilemmas of Black Manhood. The Man-Not, N-O-T. Got to get a hold of this book, y'all. The idea that a black man or a black child could be a rapist nullifies the idea that they could ever be a victim. Like George Stinney, who wasn't even 100 pounds, was accused of the rape and murder of 2 white girls and executed. That's the case I was going to ask y'all about. George Stinney. George Stinney. George Stinney. You want to talk about a heartbreaking case? You want to talk about something that just makes no sense? George Stinney Jr. Execution, 1944. My gosh, they got videos about it that they're reenacting. South Carolina boy executed for 1944 murders. Wait for it, y'all. Y'all ready? Is exonerated. All these people who didn't do it, right? A 14-year-old Carolina boy was quickly convicted of murder and then executed in 1944, has posthumously been exonerated. All these people that lived and died as criminals who hadn't done anything wrong. According to the judge's order, Stinney, who was black, was accused of beating 2 white women, Betty June Binnicker II and Mary Emma Thames VII, to death. This little boy was accused of beating these 2 white women to death, white girls. The girls' bodies were found in a ditch in rural South Carolina on March 24th, 1944. 1 month later, Stinney went on trial for Binnicker's murder, and the trial lasted 1 day, and all the white men in the jury deliberated for 10 minutes before pronouncing the 14-year-old guilty and sentencing him to die by electrocution. George Stinney Jr. I think he was the youngest person to be executed, at least in the state. My God, you look at this brother's eyes in the picture. Make sure you shop. ShopFNQ.com. Make sure your shopping pop. Make sure that you log on. Text Queens to 31996. Stay in the mix. 319. Okay. Oh, you get it. And if you want to get your business right, FlyNubianBusiness.com. Listen live anytime and log on. If you don't have that app, you know where to go. Download an app like you know. So basically what we're saying is we got a lot of liars out there who will lie about everything. Cardi B said she lied about what was going to happen after you took that sip. She said she was drugging dudes and then robbing them, right? We all know if that was a man, they would be being muted heavily. But I don't know. This double standard is tragic. Is anybody muting Cardi B now? I'm not saying we should mute anybody, but if you're going to mute some people, I don't know. I don't know what the scale is of how much you got to offend people for them to not, hey, I don't know what the rules are here. So all these cases of white women lying on black men, all these cases of white women lying on black men, what is to be said? When we have debates and discussions about intersectionality and what it means to be an ally, one portion of what it means to be an ally is to face this tragic history. No. If something goes wrong, we need to just be like, this is what's going on and it's wrong and we need to deal with it. And if we're going to be intersectional, if we're going to be allies to one another, when we see points in history that have not been adequately addressed, then we need to make sure that at least we take into account the significance of the historical ramifications of false accusations. If nobody else wants to do it, that's their business. They want to live the lie and learn from the lie and benefit from the lie and keep believing the lie. That's on them. I'm saying right here, right now, that we have a 400-year tragic history of people making up stuff on us. Yes, how can I forget? Because that's what spawned the whole discussion. Shouts out to Andrew Perkins. We were talking last time in the chat. Sister Vanita was saying we need Andrew Perkins in the just keeps on happening. And one thing I would like to ask you all in the chat is, what is the answer to this? Not the overall answer to Black liberation. We have a situation where we need to trust people to mobilize people. We need to trust being able to be around people without them charging us for some bogus charge. But we do need to make sure that we strategize in a way that could benefit us. What should we do about how Me Too is converging with this history of white women lying on black men? There has to be a discussion around it. Not an argument or a debate or all winner takes all, just lack of understanding. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about cancel culture. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm saying we need to make sure that we can even engage the issue in a way that's productive for people who are watching from the sidelines and trying to get a better understanding of how do we appreciate victims moving forward and gaining some type of self-determination, taking control of their lives, not being victimized or feeling down about something somebody else is doing, but at the same, maybe body cameras, I don't know. But when do the body cameras get worn? On dates? Because when the police wear a body camera, it doesn't change the outcome nearly enough. They say you don't know what happened before the camera started rolling. You don't know what happened after the cameras started. You can't just decide that they did it just because it's on camera. I say the heck I can. I was gonna say something else. What kind of pimping Jedi mind trick? You gonna tell me I'm not seeing what my eyes are seeing? I'm not seeing what my eyes are seeing. It's not like that, brother. When we want to come to you. Well, what? Wait. So I don't know what the body cameras will do if people just say you don't know what happened before the cameras and after the cameras, and that camera's only on a 180 swivel. There's a 360. No. As long as you BSing, you can find a reason to BS. I'll do an experiment with you right now. Anybody in the chat room could ask me any question. And if my BS meter goes high enough, I guarantee you I'll answer the question. I mean, I'm not going to say I'll give you the answer that makes sense or that you want, but I can do an experiment in this level of BS so you can understand the history of these false accusations. Anybody in the chat, just put any question in there. When the question goes in there, I'll make sure I go back to that. That's just when we go live. We got people who will lie for 70, 80 years. That's a difficult lie to maintain. Anybody who has any good in their heart, anybody who's a decent individual would find it very difficult to maintain a lie. What kind of demons and spirits are visiting you every day and every night, knowing that you got a child killed? What kind of household name can I really make you at that point? Like, I could try my best, but if you got a history, just lying. Andrew Perkins, let's get to it. False accusations. I had his picture up in one of them. I had his article. Andrew Perkins. And people are getting real time. People are really losing scholarships. Look at this. 10 false claims of racism. Andrew Perkins. Employee charged in staged robbery. Employee charged in staged robbery of store in Shreveport. An employee of a local formal wear store has been charged in connection with a staged armed robbery of the business on Monday morning, just before 9 a.m. on March 28, 2016. Shreveport Police Patrol officers were called to the Squires formal rental store related to an armed robbery of the business. Upon arrival, the police information was gathered from an employee suggesting a white male had entered the store armed with a handgun and removed money. This is the. Then they try to put it on what? This is crazy. Detective Perkins was arrested and jailed on charges of felony theft. Perkins was later booked in the Shreveport jail. This is insane. 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 So let's look at the woman. Well, I wish I could get a picture. Gemma Beal, 27. Gemma Beal, 27, claims she had been seriously sexually assaulted by 6 men and raped by 9 in 4 different encounters over the span of 3 years. I'm going to say that again because it's that crazy. Woman jailed for falsely accusing 9 men of rape loses her appeal. And this was March 2019. A couple weeks ago. It was all good just a week ago, and we see that you were lying, though. You tried to get an appeal, they was like, try it, yo. But the judge really didn't buy it, so they sent you back to the hole about a week ago. A serial liar who invented a string of false rape and sexual assault allegations, has failed in a bid to clear her name. How you gonna clear your name? How you gonna clear your name? Beal was jailed for 10 years in August 2017 after being found guilty of 4 counts of perjury and 4 counts of perverting the course of justice. She alleged her conviction at the County Court of Appeals today, with her lawyers arguing it was unsafe. Gillen Jones QC, defending, argued the trial judge should have given the jury directions about the danger of assumptions, myths, and stereotypes relating to individuals of sexual differences. She also argued that the loss of her anonymity, which led to intense media scrutiny, caused prejudice to Beal's defense. But Lady Justice Harlett said such direction usually applied to victims, not defendants, and that even if the judge had given guidance, it would not have helped Beal. The judge said the appellant was accused of being a serial liar who fabricated complaints, mostly of a sexual nature. Something was off with the sister living in a fantasy world. Because tonight, I know you're going to try to appeal, but you're living in a fantasy world. Remember that? I think I'm a nasty girl. But tonight, you ain't going to be free. You go back in the hole. And she tried to come out to me, I'm going to clear my name. How you lie on 9 people, falsely accuse them of rape, and then get on and talk about, but I'm going to clear my name. You better clear your schedule. You better clear your schedule, not your name. You're going to be sitting for a while. You're going to be there for a while. You ever had them say that to you? You know, it's Friday and you probably can't see the judge till, so you probably going, you might want to just get, you know, to make a cheat sheet. You might just want to sit and be, you're not going to be free for a while. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Listen live anytime and live gone. If you don't have that app, you know where to go. Download an app like you know. Make sure you get that notification situation. Text Queens 31996. Stay in the mix. Like, subscribe, and share that button. Yeah, right there. We got to get them subscriptions so we can let you know when it's time to listen. Listen, what did Cal say? Listen. Listen. This is. I need some of y'all just to type her name in to see this sister. She's one of a kind. I'll leave it at that. She's one of a kind. Gemma Beal, Gemma Beale. Gemma Beale. Gemma Beale. Gemma Beale was running around looking like who done it and why, and accusing 9 people of doing all kind of stuff to her. Need an alert? Yeah. See, they not, the algorithm ain't telling y'all when we on and when we getting it in and when we in the room like that. 400 pounds. Wow. I mean, looks about 380 to 420. So I'm not doubting it. Yeah, the fact that she was, accusing all these people. My goodness. That's good. We're doing something right. They couldn't get us to troll us, to derail us, so they're trying to mess with us tonight. Anybody who got anything going on is beautiful. I love it. That means we on to something. Let's keep raising the consciousness. Let's keep changing the game. It doesn't matter what they say. We got to make sure that people hear this message loud and clear. They would rather have you believing in Marxism and feminism and all these other isms, and all we do is smoke madism. It's good for all that. But the second you say, I'm do for self, learn the knowledge of myself and be as unto myself and learn my history, that's when they got a problem with you. Oh, y'all saw the picture? Somebody said, ew, Midwest brother. Shouts out. That's a lot of books. Oh, yes. A lot of books. A lot of books. Professor at Temple University in Philadelphia under the great Dr. Molefi Kete Asante. Dr. Molefi Kete Asante is the first person in the world to have a PhD doctoral program in African American studies. And until that time, nobody saw it fit to create a department that allowed us to study ourselves. So when I got the opportunity, I'm going to study. Shouts out to Devitra, Krishna. Did I say it right? Krishna? I hope I said it right. Vanita, I know Vanita. Midwest brother, shouts out to you for doing the research in the background. So what we're talking about is white women accusing black men, a black man did it. How do we factor that into this real movement, this real moment that we're calling Me Too? Because we do want to stress accountability, but not to the point where we're susceptible to crime and all kind of wrongdoing. Like, we want to make sure we do the right thing. Each one teach one. Each one teach 100. We got technology nowadays. Each one teach 100. That should be a bare minimum. The stakes is too high. In the next 40 years, Africa is going to be on its way to 2.5 billion people. So each one teach one, some Kiswahili, some Eva, give us some dialects and some languages and come on now. Give us some right to return. Because when it comes to situations like that, where somebody can just accuse you and your whole situation is over, you need to be able to take a plane and be like, you know what? I got a feeling it was about to be over, so I never came back. I transferred some money. I wired some situations. I got over here, and y'all ain't got to worry about me no more. You just buy the property now, and then the second they try it with the false accusations, you be like, I got a flight to catch. You be like, wait, I'll be right back. Set the court date. See you when I see you. I know you do. Gotta go. See you when I see you. Right? So you got to make sure that you're ready to get about if it's time to get about. Because I think with Russell Simmons, they tried to accuse him of some stuff. He was like, I will be meditating overseas today at the Great Pyramids. Like, you got to miss me with this. I am not here for it. Yeah, each one teach 100. That's going to be a new slogan. And keep track. Each one teach 100 and keep track. I really think that with the community shifting the culture, the false accusations could be almost completely ineffective. Because they always seem to need one of us to get us to believe the false. Same way, Leaving Neverland, perfect example. Them 2 white boys wasn't going to convince the average person in the hood. They ain't know them boys. And they found out that they was on the stand snitching. And they found out that it was like, no. The community knows that they try to get a black conduit to mix and mingle and identify with us to push somebody else's agenda. Just keep on pushing somebody else's agenda. It's not the move. It makes no sense. If you start being self-determined, thinking for yourself, then you say things like, man, we need to teach 100 babies. Like a month or a week, or we need to get this information into the brains, hearts, and spirits of the next generation, point blank, period. We don't need them thinking that black men are the primary people killing these people. We don't think that we don't need to be on a tip where people get confused about what's at stake. Each one teach 100. And if you built like that, 1,000. If your YouTube popping, if you got technology, make it 10,000 to 1,000,000. We're going to call it viral consciousness. Viral consciousness. Get the message out there. Get the message out there. Viral consciousness. Even beyond your time on the planet Earth, your viral consciousness will still permeate all throughout in a way that people will see it and hear it and respect it and grow from it, even when you get awards posthumously from these people who can only admit people are wrong and that they deserve something after they're already dead and gone. Text Queens to 31996. Stay in the mix. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Because we went bar for bar, case for case. I let you know that it's in your face. Just text and type in white woman falsely accused black man. You're going to get a whole night's worth of research. Type in black man. Oh, this I'm going to do it for you. This is how we're going to end it. And I'm going to tell you what it says when I press it up. I said, I feel this would be a good contrasting Google search. Right? I'm going to tell you what I'm typing in while I type it. What I'm going to type in is black man falsely accused white woman. Unless you're trying to die. Who would ever do that? Let's see what it says. Let's see what comes up. Another white woman who got charged after accusing a black guy. And she back, and she's back after she was the one that we talked about last time. I was saying who rolled their eyes in court. This sister was in court rolling her eyes all crazy when the judge was trying to sentence her. The judge was trying to let her see her. Woman 18 charged after cops say she falsely accused football players of rape. And if you remember that sister, she was the, what was her name? Jovino. And when the judge did her sentencing, she rolled her eyes at the judge. She did all this lying on black men and then was just rolling her eyes at the judge when it was time to get it together. And we already know the situation with both Jean and Amber Geiger. There's a whole lot of fishiness going on. Because I don't know why you wouldn't be able to check out some primary sources. You know, you got tapes, you got this, you got that, you got eyewitnesses. This whole idea of just falsely accusing people so consistently. So we walked through history. Lying white woman who falsely accuses 2 black men football players. Football players. She went and got on these brothers. The reason why she accused these brothers, lying white woman said, this is from Root.com. This is May 2018. A woman who confessed that she was trying to get sympathy from a guy she was interested in. She wasn't even with this other guy she was trying to impress. She wanted to get sympathy from some other guy. So she said, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll accuse 2 black men of rape because they tossed me up at a party. The woman who falsely accused 2 black men of heinous crimes as a Long Island, New York teen compared that to how those same outlets refer to a 18-year-old black boy from Ferguson. So in Ferguson, you know, they weren't talking the same way they talking now. It says in February 2017, an angelic college freshman told police that she was repeatedly raped by 2 black Sacred Heart University football players. And when she was attending an off-campus party, she said this occurs. Turns out, the little teenager said that the big black men took turns raping her in the bathroom at the party while other ones held her down. One person told cops that Jovino loudly proclaimed that she was going to have sex with 2 fellow students. People heard her at the party. These young men were stripped of their athletic scholarships. The police investigated, and they started noticing a few inconsistencies. One person told the cops that Jovino, was not just bragging, but Jovino was actually the one who coerced the men into the bathroom. Other accounts say that she wasn't just there ready to cry rape. She was there as the one, egging it all on. She was the main one talking about. Jovino eventually told the police that she had not been intoxicated and had sex with the men willingly, and that she had made up a pair of accusations to get the prospective boyfriend to have sympathy for her. Police charge her with false reporting and inciting and tampering with fabricating physical evidence. Like, this chick brought these boys to the bathroom, was with these two football players, lied on them, said they repeatedly raped her, and there was other people trying to hold her down so they cast an even wider net. Then, just to get sympathy from some other dude, got these people scholarship revoked, got them booked. Like, people do this kind of stuff. And if we don't factor this into the larger conversation of Me Too, it will only go so far. It will never go above the hurdle of allyship and intersectionality to really reach a tipping point where enough of critical mass of well-wishing, well-thinking, well-pragmatic and men can inspire, and connect with people who are being honest about things like this long history of lying on us before you want us just to get on board. I'm Aaron Smith. Text Queens 31996. Stay in the mix. Like, subscribe, and share. I am the rapping professor. FlyNubianQueens.com, Fly Nubian King TV. FlyNubianKingTV.com. Log on. If you want to get your business right, Fly Nubian Business. You want to get your money right, FlyNubianMoney.com. And get your shopping popping, Shop FNQ. Y'all know how we do. And be careful of who you hang out around because you might get accused. Peace.